live? All right, we're live. Oh wow, it's letting me do that. That's new. Okay, hello everybody. Welcome to Book Club. You know my sisters Ria and Sarah. And since it was Sarah's book, as per usual, you start.
No.
It's an unwritten rule.
Here's the problem with that, though. Okay, I'm all for talking about the book, but the thing is, I've read 3 books since I finished
Ooh.
because I started it at the very beginning of right after I nominated it and got it and everything, and I literally finished it last Friday, I think. So it's not fresh.
Okay.
I'm like this morning. I'm like I almost want to do like a refresher or something, but So like names and stuff are not gonna come easy to me because I've literally read 3 books in the meantime. So
Okay.
I have read this book before. Maria mentioned something to me after I picked it, and she's like, "I think we've read this one." And sure enough, I think she's right because when I started reading it, I have definitely read it before. So it was kind of. I mean, I didn't remember it very well. I just kind of was like, it was familiar kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, I really enjoyed the different take on sirens because it's kind of unique. It's similar to what, like, mythologically sirens are thought of as, like, literally luring people to their death and killers and all that. And they kind of were in this book. But yet they still had, like, human aspects to them too because they were part human and they definitely weren't like mermaids, so that was weird.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I also thought it was very weird how the ocean needed to be fed to almost like she's like Mother Nature or something, so she has to sustain the world. So then, like, I don't know. I just didn't get that part. That was really, really weird. I like the idea of like sirens and the ocean being connected, but the fact that they have to feed her, I find to be very weird.
Yeah, there's a lot.
And then they're like under contract to work for her for so long. It's like kind of creepy.
Yeah. It's literally she holds them hostage,
like
forces them to kill.
Save your life if you kill for me for this many years, like 80 years, and then you can have your own life back, even though it's going to be a different time period with different people, and nothing will be the same.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
At least they forget. At least they forget that they were a siren and that they killed like so many people. So that's good. So then at least they're given like a clean slate, so it's easier for them to start. Cause could you imagine if they did remember and they had to live with that guilt?
It'd be traumatic.
Yeah. So I think that's a good thing.
Well,
I mean, even forgetting is bad enough, where you wake up one day with no memories, and that's like a trauma. And then if you had the memories, it'd be 10 times worse. So yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And Colin already had a hard time with everything.
Yeah.
I just noticed you did cat eyes. Take off your glasses. Show Sarah. She did cat eyes. Go closer.
Oh, I was gonna ask if you wore your makeup.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my gosh.
Nice.
Sorry, I just like looked over at her and I saw that. Man, those cat eyes could. Wow. How do you get them so perfect? Because those are perfect. Can I see the other side?
You should have seen how I started with them.
Oh my gosh. I literally cannot do cat eyes on myself anymore.
No, it was awful, especially because you know how I can't keep my eyelids like straight. So then I started, and it was
they
like
switched so bad.
It was literally like this, and I had to like slowly, okay, breathe and then go, and yeah, it was
Miss Twitchy had to be careful.
yeah.
Wow. Okay. Sorry, completely off the subject, but I just turned around and I saw her wearing makeup and I was like, what? This rarely ever happens. Sorry, you were saying.
I think Maria was talking about Colin.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry. Okay. Yeah.
So she's like the Ocean's favorite, but she like struggles the hardest. And I'm like, I don't understand how you're the Ocean's favorite. Like, okay, sometimes I guess you can't pick who your favorites are per se, but it's like,
Well, the Ocean literally said that she was the one who seemed to love her back and actually come to her even when she didn't call her. So it was like the first person out of all the sirens that she had that actually would come to her and want to spend time with her even outside of when she needed her.
yeah, but then she also didn't. It was like a really, really messed up love-hate relationship. That I'm like, literally, most of the time, you're like, this is the very unhealthy relationship.
It kind of felt like Stockholm syndrome to me, in a way, where it was like,
How can you love someone when you're imprisoned to them?
yeah.
Basically, is what it comes down to. And it's like, if you love them, let them go, and then see if they come back to you. But obviously, if she lets them go, they can't come back to her, remembering her. So I guess it doesn't work that way, but
yeah. I loved that they were soulmates. I really did love that. Like, she found love, and he wanted to get to know her enough to get past the fact that she couldn't talk. And I thought that was so sweet. And I thought it was hilarious how he would talk to her, she would react, and he would be like, "Oh, I know this," or like he would make a comment about what
she would.
like
fill it in.
Yeah, and I thought that was so cute because he usually was right.
A Kinley is
yeah.
like the best part about this book.
That's why I wanted a happy ending so bad for them. Well, that and she deserved it after all that.
Brittany, there was a point in the book yesterday.
Yeah.
And I don't remember exactly what it. There was when she spent
the day with them.
When she was baking cake with him. Or was it the day?
No, it was the day. It was when they were at his parents' house.
All right. So then Brittany turns to me and she goes, "This is when he saves her, right? And they live happily ever after." And I'm like,
She told me that they didn't get a happily ever after, and I'm like, nah, they're getting a happily ever after. And then a little while later, when they're separated and they're both dying, I'm like, how are they supposed to get this happily ever after? And she's like, they don't.
I'm like, Brittany, remember what I said earlier that there is no happily ever after? And she
You're
was
so
like,
mean.
so mad.
At the end, I literally kept throwing pillows at her because I was so mad that she scared me that much.
Yeah.
I mean, like, you have to wait to the very, very end to discover that they do end up together. So it's like she was holding you all the way to the end there.
Yeah.
Bad.
Like, I was just like, how dare you scare me like that? And she's like, normally you want everybody to die. And I'm like, no. There are very specific circumstances in which I'm like, you know what, forget it. I don't want them to have a happy ending. They could all die and I wouldn't care. Is if the characters annoy me so much where I'm like, I literally do not care if they get the happy ending.
If they have like a cheesy romance and he gave up everything for him, it's like, you guys can just die. But they didn't. She sacrificed so much. She deserved a happily ever after. Like, seriously.
They both did. They both
and they
fought
both
so hard.
so much.
Yeah. So I'm like, this is one of those rare instances where I'm like, yep, I am good with the sappy, sweet, happily ever after for them.
Yeah.
Because they deserve it. They earned it. And they earned their love, I feel like, too. So it didn't feel too forced or too insta-love for me. So I liked that.
It was like there may have not been much time for them to develop the relationship. Like, they technically only went on 2 dates. But there's a lot that happened character-wise in those dates that really revealed themselves to each other.
And they talked in between the dates too. Like they texted and they called sometimes.
Yeah.
Well, I guess they just texted because she had. But still, it's like they communicated outside of those dates, and then she just kind of dropped him. But then when she saw him again after that, he was like more worried about her than upset about being ghosted. So it was kind of like sweet because he was like, "Did I do something wrong?" And she's like, "Oh no, please don't think that."
And then he's like, "Was it somebody else?"
The opposite.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I thought that was so sweet. He was worried if one of the other guys like tried something with her or something or like whatever, and he's just like, "Did somebody upset you?" And he was so sweet. And that was the moment where I'm like, okay, I already thought he was awesome. And now this just confirms it that he's one of my favorite male leads. Or, yeah, however you would put it. You know, like, I love that because he just genuinely cared about her. And it's just so sweet.
Yeah. Okay, yes, I kind of think it's a little weird that he wasn't, like, he was kind of curious to why she left, but he was okay with her not being okay talking about it.
Mm-hmm.
And so he knew that there was something there. And then when she should have got cut, and he got cut, and she didn't, and he was like,
Something
and then when she, what was it? Was it the next one was supposed to be burned? And then he was like,
he spilled like the quack.
Mm-hmm.
And she didn't even flinch or anything. I'm like, what does he think?
Yeah.
Like,
yeah,
you know, because I mean, somebody can build up a pain tolerance, I guess, but to not actually get cut,
yeah,
that is like completely different. So I really wonder deep down what he thinks is going on, because he actually was like,
yeah,
concerned, like thinking that she was in a dangerous situation,
which I guess in a way she was.
but not in any way that he thought.
Yeah. And I thought it was so sweet how he's like, either you are trouble or you're in trouble.
And then,
I think it's the latter, and I want to help. And I just was like, that's so sweet. You don't even know what kind of trouble she is. And you like, for all you know, you both could die if you tried to help her. And he still wanted to help her. And I'm just like, that is just so sweet. I'm girling out here, but you know, he's one of it was awesome.
well, you know, you have some girl qualities, so.
As they can see my pink walls of my room.
And I think you and Colin are a lot similar. Like you dress the same, and you have similar personalities, and like I don't know, love
you mean
bugs.
like the 50s style, but Britney's not quite 50s, but it's closer to that era than this era.
I do 30s, 40s, 50s, and sometimes 60s as I did today.
And then
That's where she,
you know, reading the books.
Era and the dressing like that.
Yeah. I also really identified, like, okay, for obviously different reasons, but I too have social anxiety where, like, if I'm in too big of a crowd, it gives me panic attacks. And so when that happened to her when she was in a club, well, I don't know if you'd call it a panic attack, but she's just like, I want to leave. And yeah, and so I really identified with that because that's how I feel in those kind of situations. So this, I guess, you know, that probably could be part of it because I really do identify with her. She's so much like me. Minus the siren part, but yeah, I really, character-wise, I identify with her. Man, if only I could find my own a Kinley. Why couldn't I think of his name for a second there? A Kinley.
Because it's unusual.
Totally.
Yeah.
Well, now that we know what to look for.
But how can we find him?
Oh no, what have I done?
I mean, the more that I think about it, the more that I'm like, I don't even know how he could be real.
It would be very rare to find
You
him.
two need to just hang out in like college campus libraries.
But maybe I would feel like I need like
maybe maybe not.
I don't know. I'd feel a bit like a cougar then, though, because, like,
Oh my gosh. Because you're 30.
well, I mean, like, the age difference. Like, I'll just, like, hang out in, like, bookshops and libraries and hope that way. Maybe that's the ticket. Because let's face it, I mean, like, if my significant other doesn't like books, like, that's just not gonna work.
There's not your significant other.
Yeah. So,
Not for you.
Well, okay, alright, so you've actually, like, gone to so many bookstores, libraries, and it hasn't happened yet, so you need to actually, like, go for extended periods of time.
just,
On a
like,
regular
look
basis.
mysterious off in the corner, not speaking. Well, then again, I don't if I go alone. But I usually go with people. So, maybe I should go alone more. Because I usually go with people to hang out with, like, friends and you guys and stuff. So, okay, let's move on from this weird topic. I kind of love the sister dynamic between her and the other sirens. I mean, sisters, they get on your nerves sometimes.
You don't know how that feels at all.
No, I don't. And I kind of loved how realistic that
Crazy.
was. They were so different, but they genuinely cared about each other.
It's funny how they're, like, so worried about her, but they, like, don't want her to know, even though she totally does.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, you guys think you're so stealthy, and the only thing you're stealthy really is where you go.
Yeah.
When you leave.
Literally.
Because she doesn't know where they go, but she knows that they're up to something.
Yeah. Which I think is so sweet.
You know what? I'm also kind of like, really? You think he's dying, he's very, very sick, and you're going to see what the heck's wrong with him. And then she starts developing the same symptoms, and you don't tell her until you think there's no other way?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Come on, what happened to the sister code? You know? You don't get that far without not telling the secrets.
Yeah. I also really didn't like how they basically chose to take revenge on uh what's her name's parents?
It's like Padme.
Padme. Something like that. I don't like that because with sirens they were forced to kill. That was an instance when they chose to kill. And I really didn't like that. Revenge is never the answer. I get her
But it's
being
still
upset.
like they finally got justice. Her parents literally killed her.
Yeah.
So it was like they were going to get away with it, and there's no way to get justice other than taking revenge in that situation. And it was literally killing her that they had gotten away with it. So it's like finally they're just like, well, I guess we're gonna go on a murdering trip, and that was like a very dark part of the book, I feel like.
Yeah.
And it was hard to get through because it just felt so sad. And it's like, you kind of relate when you're like, when justice really does need to be served and you'll do anything. And it's like when you hear stories about abuse where you're just like, that person just needs to be done away with because there's a reason there's a death penalty kind of thing. So it's like they had to take it into their own hands, kind of, I guess. And then she got peace from that.
I don't know.
I don't know.
On one
I
hand,
feel
I
like
understand it.
Ocean should have sympathized more with her.
Should have what? Sorry.
Sympathize.
Oh, sympathized? Yeah. Especially because she probably could see a lot of those memories since she can look into people's heads and stuff, which is creepy. But so I feel
Yeah,
like
she knew more than any of them, even her, because she had her memory slightly taken away.
Mhm.
So it's like, you know what she went through. Why can't you just, feel when her father comes near the water and then pull him in, kind of thing? Come on. That's how you gain her trust right there, because right now she's scared, terrified.
Because she literally attacked her, and I'm like, she's already been abused. and then you go and you threaten her,
Yeah,
and you
that
claim
part
to
made
still
me
love her.
mad.
I'm like, no, no,
I
no,
was
no.
like, you can't pretend you're loving mother if you're gonna threaten to kill her because she disobeyed. Like, this is not okay.
Yeah.
It's just like it brought her right back to her parents.
Yeah. She's
And
like,
then, of course,
I'm
she-
just in the hands of
Exactly.
another abuser. Like,
Yeah.
it's like literally, she's like, I escaped one abuse to be captured by yet another one.
Yeah,
Like, literally.
I was almost like, I don't think that she was the right choice
No.
to turn her into a siren just because she had all that baggage. And in order for her to actually be at peace, dying would probably been the best. But she wasn't, and then
I thought for sure she was gonna turn into one of the ones, like I said, that kind of went crazy and murdered people without realizing it, kind of thing. Because I'm like, yeah, I could see that happening with her.
Yeah.
But she didn't. Yet.
Yeah.
She still has 80 years or however long in her sentence, and they took on more.
It's 100.
It's 100.
Yeah.
Oh, that's right. It's 100.
It's a century. That's their starting point, and so they only served like 2 years with her.
Yeah.
So 98 to go.
Plus the added, because they offered to take her so she could go to him.
That was all of them that did that?
Yeah, they all divvied up evenly among themselves, or at least they offered to. I don't know if she ended up making them
Yeah.
that, but yeah.
Well, it wasn't like she had a choice whether or not to give her back. She was either gonna die, or she was gonna go live with him. That was the only option.
Yep. And for a little while there, I thought the ocean was just gonna be like, no, you can't go to him.
Well, she was. She literally knew what was happening and she wouldn't tell. And they're like, if you know,
Yeah.
you have to do something. And then she was like, fine, I don't want to because I love you. You're my favorite. Everybody knows
And then she has to admit that he loves her more than she does. And she's like, it's not even possible that someone could love you more than I do.
Yeah, and they're like,
Right.
wow.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow.
And I'm like, literally, because she was so desperate to hold on to her that she literally almost let her die. That's not love. Real, true love is wanting what's best for the other person, even if that means letting them go. That is love.
Yeah, like when she added 50 years to her sentence.
Mm-hmm.
It was really, like, yeah, she disobeyed and she killed for less of a but
But it's so
it
cool.
was also like, because I don't want to let you go,
Mm-hmm.
so I'm gonna add 50 years.
And she wouldn't want her to be with him in any realm or in any situation. Because it's like, you could potentially seek him out when you're out of your sentence.
In 20 years.
Still, he would probably still be alive. So she's like, well, I'm going to extend it so he definitely won't be alive.
Yeah.
So you can never have what you want.
Well, even if he had been, like, even if she had been released in 20 years, he would be 20 years older and she wouldn't be. So it's not like there would be all that much of a future
They
for
could
them
be
together.
together.
Yeah. So I'm like, it's not like, I don't know. It was so messed up.
But she just didn't want her to be loved by someone else.
She was jealous by beyond all means.
That is a possessive love. That is a creepy love.
That's because literally the premise is, I own you, you're mine.
Yeah.
Okay, red flag.
Well, even what they say when it's like a love song from the ocean, like, you must feed me, you desire to feed me. Like, that was creepy.
Yeah. It's like, you didn't need to interpret that.
Yeah, I think that was unnecessary. That creeped me out.
That was bad.
Yeah. And how they were like, how their reaction to it, I felt was like really weird. They were like oddly touched by it. And I'm
It
like,
was weird.
They're like, it's weirdly poetic.
Morbid.
It was almost like they
Like,
were
what
brought
is
under
happening?
its spell.
Yeah. Which kind of, I mean, they were barely immune to it.
Yeah.
I mean,
is
it's
weird.
in them. It makes them who they are.
Hmm.
So, and they were brought in by it. So yes, they're not immune to it.
I guess.
Yeah, they almost died from it, and then they were filled with that black stuff that made them be able to sing it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That was.
You know, at the
super
end,
weird.
when they say that there was only 2 things on the porch that the girls left for her, was money and a bottle full of dark liquid. And I'm like, you could have put water.
That was creepy.
You could have put water because then the ocean could be near you, right? But to put the black siren liquid that makes you a siren, basically if you drowned in it, is that the ocean being like, I hope she drinks this and becomes a siren again? Or, you know what I mean?
I don't think so. I think it was just a way to be connected to her.
But it
That's
was
what I
but it
thought.
was the dark liquid. It could have been ocean, but it was the changing into a siren liquid that's different. I mean, I don't think it was enough. I mean, I don't know if it
Well,
was
it
enough
doesn't
to do
actually
anything.
say that's what it is, does it?
They
It
don't.
says the dark
Because it was.
black liquid or something like that. I don't have the book to actually look up what it says, but
Because I just remember it being like a bottle of water, but it was not normal water. But she
That
didn't know how to describe it other than that. It was like it had sand and
seashells and stuff.
seashells in it that never really settled.
Yeah, that is what I thought when I listened to it. She thought it was the dark liquid. I'm like, I don't recall them saying dark liquid. I just thought they said like a bottle of water.
no, they did. They did say
That's not the impression that I got, so I don't know.
yeah.
I don't know. I mean, if you want to go to a dark place of her
Well,
wanting,
I'm just
her back.
saying the ocean's not gonna want to give her up too easily, and I think that she's going to try to manipulate things to be to her advantage forever because that's just a type of
Okay, but she's got her memory away. She still feels the love of the ocean from the bottle, which is creepy. But then
Yeah.
it's like, whenever she goes to the ocean, even as a human, she's still gonna like the ocean will feel her. So it's like I don't know.
Yeah.
I think that's all that she's gonna get.
Yeah.
And at least her sisters will be able to get updates from the ocean about how she's doing. So.
If the ocean's that
Right.
Communicative.
Well, I think she can feel their love for her, so she would share a little bit. I think, maybe. I don't know. You never know.
I don't know, but they have all the sisters, and it's like she doesn't really seem to talk about very many of them.
No.
Or any of them
Mm-hmm.
after.
Nope. The ocean is a selfish jerk face who should die.
But it's not a human, so it's like you have to realize when you've been around forever and you're not a human, you're an entity.
Mm-hmm.
You don't think like humans do,
No.
and you don't have sympathy or empathy anymore because it's like the lifespan of a human is so short that it almost doesn't matter anymore.
Yeah. Their sentence probably feels like a blink of an eye for her.
I'm surprised she has feelings at all.
Yeah. That almost makes it worse.
Well, I mean, if you've ever been in a ship at sea, you can feel the ocean has, I don't know about feelings, but it feels like it changes with, it's like with the weather, but not, It's like, I don't know how to describe it, but it's like
alive.
it's a feeling.
Has a
Like
mind
it's
of its
alive.
own.
Yeah,
That
well,
sounds funny.
honestly, I can honestly say I do not think the ocean is real.
What?
In
You
not
don't
the
believe in
sense.
the ocean?
No.
That
Like
sounded so weird.
drawing people to drown.
You've
And
literally
causing
swam in the ocean. Come on.
and causing sirens to be their slaves and cause people to drown themselves.
What? You don't think the book was based on a true story?
Darn it. I, like, You have just destroyed.
I do not think the ocean is that temperamentally weird. No, I do not. Or a creature like that.
Mm.
At least I would not like to think of it as that because if I was, I love the water. So in order for the ocean to actually be that, I wouldn't like it at all. Like, you know.
I wouldn't mind like the aspect of her like communing with people or like being connected to people and her being like a motherly figure to them. That I like. But the possessiveness, the you have to feed me with other humans thing, that's weird.
It is weird because she's water. How do you like? How do you eat them? First of all. Second of all, like, what do you gain from eating them? Like, you know what I mean?
They don't need to feed, so why would she need to feed? You know? Or eat? I don't know. That just doesn't make sense to
I
me.
know.
It doesn't. I think it would make more sense if they made it where because she feels lonely, she rescues some of the people who at are in like naturally occurring shipwrecks. And then she's like, "Hey, I like you, so I'm
And
gonna
then
keep
she
you for
makes them
100
into
years."
sirens who lure sailors to their death.
No, they don't
The
lure
whole
people
point
to.
of the book is the siren part.
I
But they
know,
don't want
but like,
the sirens to be morbid murderers. So then they create the ocean so that we all hate the ocean and not the sirens because we think of them as victims.
I yeah, you're right, but like, I don't know. I just the whole part is just
Basically,
weird.
what you're saying is remove the whole siren aspect and boom, great story.
I didn't say that. I just said that I just feel like there needed to be a little bit more clarification because they say that they need to feed her to save people, but they don't explain how they
Yeah.
save people. And I feel like that is a very important aspect to it because, from our point of view, the ocean is just wanting to feed and eat humans. And I just didn't really buy the whole it saves people because it wasn't explained. And so I feel like because it's the premise of the book, that should have been explained a little bit better, or at least more justified in a way. I don't know. Like, it's hard to explain, you know.
It's all around just a weird premise.
Yeah.
It's definitely a different version of Siren that
Yeah.
anyone's ever heard, which is unique,
Mm-hmm.
although very, very creepy. Then again, I don't know how you could tell a story about a siren
Without it being
and not
creepy.
be creepy.
Yeah. I'd say overall I enjoyed the book, but I don't think it'd be a book I'd recommend to people. It's not like recommend book quality, if that makes any sense. All right, shall we nominate our books now? Do you want to go first, Rhea?
I did not move this before, have I?
I don't think so,
I
no.
was gonna watch the videos to see, but I think I have not.
It's okay to renominate if we don't read it.
I don't remember if we did or not.
We haven't.
I don't think we have. Okay, my nomination is Beauty and the Beast. It's a Twice Upon a Time book by Wendy Mass.
Why don't you read the back?
Okay. When you're stuck with the name Beauty, people expect a lot from you. Like beauty and grace and a sense of style. But what if you have a perfect older sister who really should have had your name instead of you? And when you're a prince, you're supposed to be athletic and commanding and brave and tall. But what if all you like to do is play the bagpipes badly, study the stars and try to figure out how to make worms live forever. When Beauty's life turns upside down and she's forced to head out into the world, she has to figure out just who she wants to be. And when Prince Riley grows fur, he has to learn that appreciate uh appreciate why can't I say that?
Appearances.
Appearances can't can be deceiving. Journey back in time when fairy tales were real and discover the story of Beauty and the Beast like you've never heard it before.
All right, Sarah, what's yours?
Mine is The Forbidden Stone, Mythicalness Legacy, by Tony Abbott. And it's funny because on the back it actually is reviewed by Wendy Mass. So there's that. I started reading this last night to get a kind of an idea of what book I was between a couple books to nominate. And let's just say I sat down to read it, and 2 hours went by, and I didn't know. And I got to chapter 8. So it's a really good book.
Okay.
I think. I'll read the back. Well, actually, the back has nothing. I'll read the inside, front cover. Okay. A secret cast can destroy the future. It all begins when Wade Kaplan receives a strange coded email from his Uncle Henry, shortly before the old man's sudden and suspicious death. He sets off for Germany to attend the funeral with his father, Roland, and his 3 friends, Daryl, Lily, and Becca, only to discover that Uncle Henry left them yet another baffling message that they suspect is the key to figuring out how and why he died. The message leads to a clue which leads them to a dark and creepy family tomb. The more clues they discover, the farther they travel down a treacherous path toward an ancient guarded secret. Soon they are in a breathless race across the globe, running for their lives as a ruthless shadow organization chases them around every corner. Their only hope of saving themselves and the world that they know is to find the 12 magical relics from a hidden past that will unlock the Corpus legacy. The Forbidden Stone is the beginning of Tony Abbott's epic new series, a thrilling adventure packed with puzzles, intrigue, and action. So it's actually a 12-part series, and this is the first book.
That sounds pretty cool.
Yeah.
The book that I am nominating is The Book of Story Beginnings. I mean, look at that cover. I don't know if you can see it very well. It's by Kristen Kladstrup. I don't know if I'm saying her name right. All right, here is the description. Oscar Martin was 14 when he mysteriously disappeared from his Iowa farmhouse in June 1914. His sister claimed Oscar had rowed out to sea, but how was that possible? There is no ocean in Iowa. When nearly a century later, Lucy Martin and her parents moved from their city apartment to that same farmhouse, it's not long before Lucy discovers this strange and dangerous book of story beginnings. And it's not long before Oscar reappears in a bizarre turn of events that sends the 2 distant relatives on a perilous journey to save Lucy's father. This remarkable debut fantasy novel featuring a ship full of orphaned children, a pair of warring royals, and plenty of magic potions and talismans is sure to thrill all those who dare to turn its pages. So yeah, that's my nomination. All right, who wants to vote first? every week, nobody wants to go first. Okay, I will vote first, and my
No
vote.
one wants to be the tiebreaker either, but
Yeah. All right, my vote will be for Sarah's book.
Knew it. I knew it.
I've already read your book, this one. I so I
me
that one.
too. You made me read it ago.
She made me read it too. I just started doing it again.
What? It's a good book.
It
That's probably one of my favorites that you've made me read, but yeah, you did make me read it.
Okay, who wants to vote next? Come on, girls. We gotta pick a book.
Oh.
Unless I'm
I don't
gonna
want to go next because I want to vote for my home, but I don't want Maria to have to not vote.
Rhea?
Then what's the point of my vote? No matter what.
I know. I just.
Like,
What are you gonna vote for? I might change it.
Come on.
I don't know.
You don't know?
No, like I like my book, but I have read it before, and I could always just read it again. But
Come on.
I guess I'll vote for Sarah's too.
So that's 3 votes for yours.
Yay! Yes.
I will
Okay.
look it up and I will post the link to it in the comment sections like I usually do for you guys who want to join us. Yeah, that one actually sounds really interesting.
It's so fun because I don't remember what chapter because I got to 8 chapters, but in the very beginning, they were doing a Caesar code or a Caesar cipher. So I'm like,
ship
hey,
code?
we just did that.
Oh my gosh, that's so fun.
The substitution shift. So I was like, this is so cool because we just did that. So anyway.
Wait, what's it called?
It really makes you think, you know? It's one of those, like, it's the Forbidden Stone.
She's already reserving it at the library.
Pony
That's because you gotta make sure we get it before 2 weeks.
That's true. That is true.
Yeah.
Oh, speaking of the shift cipher, sorry, could you move over just a little bit? Thank you. You're kind of pushing me off to the side.
Oh, yeah.
Joking. We are doing a fundraiser for Life Skills where we're doing that, what we did for my birthday to raise money for Life Skills. And the day we're going to be doing it would be the same day where we would be meeting for our next book club. So I thought we should discuss a new date. I was thinking maybe Sunday at like 1. Would that work for you?
Okay. That's fine.
Would that work for you, Rhea? What? Sunday at 1 for the next book club meeting because of the fundraiser that we're doing?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So we will meet Sunday at 1 on the 14th of March instead of the 13th. Thank you for participating in this week's book club. I hope you enjoyed it, and we will see you next time. Bye. Are you guys going to say goodbye?
Oh, bye.
I wave.
Okay. I
You know
feel like
what?
every week
You know
I
what?
do
You
that.
know what? We forgot to ask people to recommend books too.
Oh, that's right. If you guys want to recommend books for our consideration or to look into for next week's nominations, put them in the comments below. And Awkward Promotion, please give us a like, comment, subscribe, and all that jazz. Awkward Promotion over. See you next time. Bye.
Bye. I just feel like I have such a delay.
Yeah, there is a bit